Okay, so we're just making this recording as a response to the TED Talk that we had. It was
New insights on poverty.
New Insights on Poverty. I keep forgetting that. But for me, the little bit that I learned or that really kind of impacted me was as the countries continued to get healthier and healthier, the environment went down. The carbon monoxide rates went higher as the country got healthier. So it's kind of backwards that something unhealthy shows a rise in when the countries get healthy. It was just really interesting.
Something that I found really interesting in the video was just how our country developed and grows was so much different from these lesser developing countries. You just can see from a 100-year span how we grew so much, but also these developing countries too. It's just in a different way, and so it's kind of interesting to see how, in that light, looking at it in a different perspective, and just seeing on the Dollar Street. Small increases of money just had a huge impact on their quality of life and where they lived. And so we just need to remember to look at these countries differently than our own. It's a little different.
Yeah, and going on like Kailey said, talking about the different levels of poverty and the different styles of life. It also talked about the dimensions of development, and in order it listed them: human rights, environment, governance, economic growth, education, and health culture. And it rated which ones were most important, which ones had the greatest impact in everybody's lives. And first one was human rights, and then the next biggest one was their culture. And I've actually been able to see that when I've gone to other countries like Guatemala. I was able to go there and do some humanitarian work there. And even though they didn't have the best living environment, and they might be living on dirt floors and having to walk miles to go and grind their corn so they can make their tortillas for their meal, they were actually really happy, and they enjoyed their culture, and they wore their festive clothing, and they were happy. Whereas we were there and we were serving them, we thought that they would probably be less happy than we were, but we found it to be contrary.
That's a good point. Just to add on to that, I visit Mexico every year, and the people there, you think that they'd be miserable because of their situation, but I mean, they live on a dirt floor, but they couldn't be happier with where they live, and they're so proud of their house, no matter how small it is or how little they have. But one thing that I found to be interesting was how he talked about how in previous years, underdeveloped countries have had better health than developed countries such as the United States, and I thought that was interesting because I just couldn't understand how somebody or a country where they don't have as much resources, developmental-wise, could have better health than a country that does have developmental technology that they can use for health. So,
Going on the technology, I thought it was cool how it says when you're in poverty, everything is about survival and finding food, and once you're out of poverty, then it gets the technology and the women wanting things to make their workload easier, to making the food process quicker. And then once you're away from poverty, then you can start getting in the markets of education and school and health, and it starts increasing their lifestyle.
Yeah, it's definitely an eye-opener because it's just such a different way of living than we are used to. So it's interesting learning more about it.
And even though we're all thinking it, no one said it yet, but the sword swallowing at the end of the video is definitely pretty crazy.
The what?
Sword swallowing.
That was crazy.
Not expecting that.
It's cool. The seemingly impossible is impossible. I think that sometimes people get in that mindset or that paradigm that they're stuck in the situation that they're in. And so that might be an aspect where we would be able to help out in these other cultures, is helping them realize that the paradigm that they're stuck where they are is a false paradigm, that they can actually step out of that life and go on and become whatever they want to be. It might be harder for them than for us, but it's definitely possible for them to get out of that situation and live in a better lifestyle.
That's awesome. All right, that's the end.
All right.
Wait, but we gotta wait 30 more seconds. So
dang it.
We'll also
At the beginning of his little spiel, what was the graph? It was the
mortality rates.
mortality rate and the
And-
mortality and then per capita, and how we've slowly gotten away from the mortality rate as we've gotten richer too.